Good morning. Welcome to our last Pilates class of August 2021. We're going to start lying down today. And I'm just double checking my camera angle, and let's just get down onto our backs. If you are someone who has a chronically tight, sore neck or sore shoulders, remember you can always use something under your head to get your head level to the ground, right? Chin and forehead. Because that just means you are in neutral through the neck and head, right? Because what we're looking for when we lay down is that we're balanced right behind the bridge of our nose on the back of our skull. If you feel like you're kind of more towards the top of the head, that's when you pop a block underneath. Now, or maybe a novel, I don't know. Let's have our feet within the width of our body, ideally in alignment with your sit bones, right? Our sit bones are what ache when we ride a bicycle. And that is actually, your sit bone is in direct alignment with your hip joint, right? And your hip joint is not outside your body, it's inside your body. Like it's not on the edges, it's quite deep. Now, from here, let's see what the curves of the spine are doing today. So right, neck is up, because it always is. Let's see what the rib cage is doing. Remember, you want to feel that between your shoulder blades and your belly button is heavily seated on the floor. If it's not, you want to take an exhale like a sigh to help it settle down, because it's tension in your back while it's lifting up. And then ideally, that part of your back is heavier than the shoulder blade area. As the shoulder blade area feels heavy, your back is arched, right? And then, right, from the belly button towards your tailbone, ideally is light, right? Hardly any pressure into your back there. Pelvis ideally is heavy and feels quite wide, and your feet feel light. And if your feet feel light, that helps the pelvis be heavy. Now let's just find our Pilates breath. So you're going to inhale through your nose, and you're going to exhale through your mouth. Now, as you breathe, you're looking to expand the ribs sideways towards your elbows. And as you exhale, contract sideways away from your elbows. If your ribs are sitting nicely on the floor, you might even notice a change in the movement of your back as you breathe. There's a slight increase in pressure into the floor between your belly button and your shoulder blades on your inhale, and a slight decrease as you exhale. One more of those, inhaling through the nose to expand. Exhaling through the mouth to contract that rib cage. Now you're going to keep that breath going. We're going to move to our imprint. I want you to bring your hands to your belly so you can feel whether or not you're using superficial tissue to do it or deep tissue. Remember, ideally it's deep tissue. You're going to take an inhale. You're going to exhale, deepen your core work and lengthen your low back down onto the floor. That's your imprint. And then inhale, release back to neutral. Exhale, imprint. You'll notice your pubic bone rolls towards your belly button a little bit. And then you're going to inhale, the pubic bone reaches away from your belly button. Now, ideally, your feet stay light the whole time you're doing this. And you notice that there's tensioning in your belly, but it's not a push outwards. It's just a tensioning. It might even feel like a subtle draw inwards. Exhale, imprint. Inhale, release. Just one more of those. Imprint and release. Now, let's go to our hip release just to know whether or not our pelvis is rocking and rolling around. Let's just bring our hands to our pelvis. Ideally, it doesn't move much as we do this activity. You're going to turn one knee out, slide that leg straight, turn your knee in and bend outward, slide your leg straight in and bend. Now, keep breathing. Is your back staying in neutral, or is your back arching as your leg straightens? Ideally, it stays in neutral. Let's reverse that. So you're going to turn inward, slide your leg straight, turn outward, bend. Inward, slide your leg straight, outward, and bend. You're breathing. Your ribs are staying heavy on the floor. Your low back is staying light. One more here. And let's switch legs. Turn outward, slide your leg straight, turn inward and bend. Now, as I'm turning my leg outward, I'm not trying to get my knee on the floor. I'm only taking it as far outwards as I can without my pelvis twisting or shifting. One more here, and then let's reverse it. So the knee turns towards the other knee, you straighten your leg, turn out, bend. And it's almost like your heel is on a railway track, and it's just going straight out away from that sit bone and back inwards as we're doing this stirring of the thigh bone. Last one of these. And then let's go on to our side for a little bit of rotational breathing just to warm up our back a bit. So, right, you're going to have your knees bent. They're going to be in front of you. Your underneath arm is supporting your head, or you could use a pillow. Make sure you feel like the weight is on the outside of that bottom thigh. If not, your hips are too far forward, so just slide your bum back a little bit. Remember, you want to have the side of your waist off the floor. You're going to have your top arm reach forward, shoulder distance off the floor in front of you. You're going to inhale, point that top hand at the ceiling, turn to look at it. Exhale, turn your ribs back as your top knee keeps reaching forward. Inhale into your back. Exhale, come back to where you started. Inhale, point at the ceiling, turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn backwards. Inhale, hold. Exhale, coming forwards. Inhale, point at the ceiling, turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn backwards. Inhale, hold. And exhale forward, 2 breaths. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. One more here. Back. And forward. Let's go to the other side. So, right, underneath arm supports your head, or maybe a pillow. Knees are bent, they're in front of you. Side of your waist is off the floor because that top sit bone's reaching away, but you're not lifting up so much that the ribs lift. Top arms reach forward. You're going to inhale, point that top hand at the ceiling, turn to look at it. Exhale, rotate back, top knee reaches forward. Inhale into your back. Exhale, come back to where you started. Inhale, point at the ceiling, turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn back, inhale, hold. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, point at the ceiling, turn to look at your hand. Exhale, turn your ribs backwards. Inhale, hold. And exhale, coming forward. 2 breaths. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Just one more of those. Back. And forward. We're going to go onto our hands and knees to do a little bit of cat stretch. You want your hands right under your shoulders, your knees right under your hips. Remember, if your wrists have a tendency to be sore, you can be up on your knuckles with your thumbs pointing away from your kneecaps. Back of your head matches the back of your shoulders. Collarbones are wide, little tension in the core. It's not lax. Now you're going to take an inhale here. Exhale, point your tail down at the floor. Scoop your back up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, flattening back out again. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull your tail under. Scoop your belly button in. Look back at your knees. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, flattening back out again. Inhale. Exhale, curling around. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, flatten. Now let's make this a 2 breath. You're going to exhale, round. Inhale, flatten. Exhale, round. Inhale, flatten. One more rounding and flattening. Now let's try to make this an undulation through the spine, just getting a little bit of a wave going. So as you round, shift your weight towards your fingertips. As you flatten, shift towards your heels. Can you sense a wave going through that spine? One more here. And then stopping your 4 square, right? So we're flat. And just pull your tail to one side and the other, just to wake up that side body a little bit more. Breathing. Don't care how you breathe on this, because this is more about fascial release than the more specific work of strict Pilates. Let's go on to our backs. We're going to go to an exercise called hip roll. So you're going to be lifting your bum up off the floor, so nothing extra under your head. unless you have a really, really tight neck, and then you might want something to just make your neck happier. But if you have something and you lift your bum, something under your head, you can end up with your collarbone in your throat. That just makes it hard to breathe. So, right, feet within the width of the body, ideally sit bone distance apart, back in neutral, or as much as you can without something extra under your head. Now, right, if you're having disc issues, just keep your back straight and lift. Otherwise, we're going to sequence that spine. So, right, you're going to take an inhale. You're going to exhale, find your imprint first, then press your feet in the floor, roll up through the spine, coming up onto those shoulder blades. Inhale, exhale, soften through the rib cage, roll through your low back, release to neutral. Take an inhale, exhale, imprint, press your feet in the floor, lift up, stacking your knees over your ankles. Inhale, hold, exhale, rolling back down again. 2 more. Exhale, roll up. Inhale. Exhale, rolling back down again. 1 more. Exhale as you roll up. Inhale. Exhale, rolling back down again. Now, if you like something extra under your head, let's pop it under your head. And we're going to go to some shoulder blade isolations. Now, I'm just going to do something because I think this whole screen is being recorded. So I'm just going to get that little icon out of that bottom corner because I don't need to see myself twice. So, right, find your neutral. So feet light, pelvis heavy, low back light, ribs heavy. Bring your arms up in front of your chest. Straight arms, palms facing each other, kind of like you're holding a box. And then you're just going to inhale, reach those fingertips forward towards the ceiling, shoulder blades come forward. And then we're going to come back to where the upper back and upper chest feel equally wide. Inhale forward, exhale back. Now I want you to notice, are your hands sitting the same distance apart? Ideally they are, because we're just working at moving the shoulder girdle. We're not just moving the shoulder blades, the collarbones are moving to make this happen too. Yeah. 1 more here. Inhale forward. Exhale, come back to where the upper back and upper chest are equally wide. Now we're going to do an arm scissor here. You're going to reach one hand towards your leg, the other towards the wall above your head. And then you're going to meet your hands in the middle. Inhale as you scissor, and exhale, come back to center. Now, if you're working on that glenohumeral timing, remember, you're not going to let the hand drop below your leg or the arm drop below your forehead. And then we're just working strictly on how do I move my upper arm bone and my shoulder joint without changing it. You can go further. It's more of a stretch, but you got to make sure if you're going further that the ribs are not lifting off the floor to make it happen. Inhale, reach. Exhale, meet in the middle. Inhale, reach. And exhale, meet in the middle. Let's make it a circle. So we're going to reach both hands towards the wall above your head, then circle to your legs. You're going to inhale as you come through the center, exhale, circle through your legs. Now you're still working on your glenohumeral timing. Your hands never drop below your torso. You could go there, it's more of a chest stretch, but that's a different focus of the exercise. Now we're going to reverse that. Circle around towards the top of your head, come down the middle. Reach towards the wall above your head, come down the middle. Inhale as you go around the outside, exhale down the middle. 1 more here, and down the middle. We're going to let your arms rest on the floor by your hips, and we're just going to go to our head nod. So keeping your head resting heavily on whatever it's on, you're just going to do a tiny little nod like you're nodding to say yes, and release. Inhale, nod, exhale, release. Right, and we're doing this to remind our body, this is how much the head wants to move when we do a forward bend, because our neck doesn't like to bend backwards, right? It naturally curves forward. And this just starts to get to understand what the backward curve is. And that's why you really want to reach the top of your head away from the top of your shoulders as you do your nod. Inhale, nod, exhale, release. Just 1 more. Now let's go back to some shoulder stuff. Lift your arms up a little bit off the floor, palms are faced in. Find that place where your upper back and upper chest feel equally wide. You're going to inhale, slide your shoulders towards your ears. Exhale, slide towards your heels. Inhale, up towards your ears. Exhale, down towards your heels. Inhale, up. Exhale, sliding down. One more here, up and down, because we want to be able to move the shoulder girdle, right? We don't want it all stuck. Now, we're going to go to our ab prep. So what I want you to do is pop your hands behind your head. I want your elbows where your ribs and shoulders are in neutral. So elbows are not going to be straight sideways or straight up at the ceiling. There's somewhere in between where you feel like your upper back and upper chest feel nice and wide. Now, right, feet are light, pelvis heavy, low back light, ribs heavy, and of course, head heavy in the hands. You're going to inhale, take a tiny little nod. Exhale, curl up to look at your knees. Inhale, hold that. Exhale, lay back down again. Inhale, nod. Exhale, round through your rib cage to come up. Between your belly button and your shoulder blades feels heavy on the floor right now. As you go down, try to keep that part of your back on the floor. Exhale as you curl up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, back down again. Inhale, nod. Exhale, curl up. As you inhale, your belly will move, but it won't inflate like a balloon. And let's come back down again. Exhale, curl up. Well, ideally, it's the rib cage moving to inhale. And exhale, back down again. One more here. Exhale, curl up. Inhale. And exhale, back down again. Now we're going to do 3 more. Try to keep that low back in neutral, right? Those of us who did a lot of crunches back in the day, you're going to want to flatten your low back. Don't. You're going to inhale to prepare. Exhale, curl. Inhale, down. Curl and down. One more here is your low back still light. And let's come down. Drop your elbows sideways. Just a little bit of a stretch for the chest there while we're here. So right little rock and roll through the knees, side and center. Breathing. Of course, your shoulders aren't in neutral here, right? They don't have to be in neutral all the time. Just if we have good understanding of that, it helps us with fixing shoulder pain. Anyways, let's go on to our bellies for a little bit of breaststroke prep. Now, when you do your breaststroke prep number 1, you start with your hands beside your head. Your legs are close together. Your kneecaps are pointing down. You want to feel like you're resting on the middle of your breastbone and the tip of your nose. So you're letting the tissue of the front of your body be soft through your chest, yeah? But we don't want the lower body soft, so I want you to press the top of the foot a little bit into the floor. Feel how that just creates some tone in the legs and the lower torso. Now you're going to inhale, slide your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, use your back muscles to lift your upper chest away from the floor. Inhale, hold. Exhale, back down again. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, lift up. Is the top of your foot still pressed into the floor? Let's go down. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. One more. Exhale, up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. 2 breaths. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. One more here. Up and down. Breaststroke prep number 2. Arms alongside the body, palms facing the ceiling. Top of the foot still pressed into the floor. You're going to inhale, turn your palms inwards to face your thighs. Collarbones get wide when you do that. Let's lift on up. Top of the foot still on the floor. Let's come back down again. Inhale, turn in. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, back down again. Inhale, turn the palms in. Exhale, lift. Down. Let's try this on a 2 breath. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Palms turn as you come up and down. Palms in as you're up and down. Hands under the forehead. Breaststroke prep number 3, right? You can either lift your arms with you or leave them down on the floor. Top of the foot is still lightly pressed into the floor. You're going to inhale, slide your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, use your back muscles to lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. Inhale, slide. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. Inhale, slide. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. 2 breaths. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down, one more, up and down. And we're gonna just press back into our shell stretch. If your knees and hips are happy these days, you're just gonna sit back towards your heels and round out your back. Little side to side rock here. If your hips and low back aren't happy, just flip onto your back, hug your knees into your chest, and do it there. Do a little rock there, just to get things to let go a little bit after the work we just did. This is just a happier place for unhappy knees and hips. So it's hundreds time. So I want you to front onto your back. So we're gonna do the 100. Now, if you're somebody with a tendency towards a sore neck, you're gonna have something for under your head. I've been rear-ended a few times in my life, so and like the block, particularly to start class. Sometimes partway through class, I don't need it anymore. So, right, hundreds. Before we go into it, let's just take a moment and make sure we're in neutral. So, right, feet are light, pelvis heavy, low back light, ribs heavy. I want you to check in to the movement of the rib cage on your breath right now. And the part of your back that's between your belly button and your shoulder blades, is that moving more efficiently than it was earlier? Or is it 100% the same always? And if it is, if you start a class with a nice breath flow into your back right away, fantastic. That means that you're using the back end of your diaphragm, which is, if we can get that happening, we have less of a tendency towards low back pain and neck pain. Part of the reason why we get that is the back of our diaphragm is kind of stuck. Anyways, hundreds. Remember, if your neck is sore, head stays down, low back is sore, feet stay down. We're going to take an inhale to prepare, exhale, imprint if you're lifting your legs. You're going to lift your legs up one at a time, bring them close together, inhale, nod, exhale, rounding up if you're lifting your head, and go in, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. Sniff, blow, 20. Remember, straight legs makes this harder. Out, 2, 3, 4, 30, in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 40, in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 50, in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 60, in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 70, in. If your neck is hurting, put your head down. Out, 2, 3, 4, 80, in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 90, in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 100. Take an inhale. Exhale. Come on down. Hug your knees into your chest. A little side to side rock always feels good after the 100. Right? If you have a tendency towards sore knees, you want to hold behind your thigh, not on the front of your shin for this. And let's come to a seated position, please. We're going to go to our half roll back, which is that exercise where we take our C curve and rock backwards and forwards on our bum. So what I want you to do is have your legs bent. I want you to reach your arms out parallel to the floor. And then I want you to scoop your back around. So pull your pube bone towards your belly button, push out through the back of your ribs. Now, if your shoulders lifted up, then drop down your back, kind of like a waterfall. Take an inhale here, exhale, rock back on your bum. Inhale, rock forward. As you rock back, pull your pube bone towards your belly button. As you rock forward, keep that. So the whole time, you're trying to keep your rib to hip connection here nice and engaged on the front end. You might be getting a bit of a stretch through your back. I know my back doesn't look much like a C, but trust me, I'm working like crazy trying to get that low back round. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock forward. One more here. Rocking back and forward. Now, we're going to do 2 slow roll downs, and then we're going to try a full roll up. Yeah. And if the full roll up does not work for you, go back to the slow roll downs and do a couple of them while we're working on the full roll up. So, right. Slow roll down. We're going to find our C curve, drop our shoulders, 10 count to get onto your back. You're going to take an inhale, exhale, rolling back, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms are overhead, yeah? Now to come back up again, if you can easily come up, come up. Otherwise, grab your knee into your chest, and like bringing in your chest, grab a hold of it and bring yourself back up again. So we're going to do that again. Find your C curve, drop your shoulders, take an inhale, exhale, rocking back, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, for the full roll up, you start with your arms overhead, but you don't drop them all the way down because that makes your ribs arch off the floor. And I do this exercise with bent legs because it's easier for me to round my back with bent legs. Some folks do it with straight legs. Straight legs in some ways is easier because the weight of your legs helps you come up without your feet wanting to pop off the floor. If your feet want to pop off the floor when you go to come up, do some more slow roll down. So what we do from here is we're in neutral. We're going to inhale, bring our hands towards the ceiling. Exhale, curl into our C curve, coming forward off the floor. You're going to hold that C curve, inhale, roll back over your bum, and exhale, release out of it, taking your arms towards the wall above your head, keeping your ribs on the floor. Inhale, hands towards the ceiling. Exhale, scoop your back around and come on up. Inhale, going backwards. Exhale, unrolling. We'll just do 2 more of those. Inhale, hands towards the ceiling. Exhale, curling up. Inhale, going backwards. Exhale, unrolling. And some people, this exercise is impossible for because of the length of your legs versus the length of your torso. Here we go. Last one. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, going backwards. And exhale, unrolling. So if you tried that and went, that is impossible for me, that's okay. Just a question of physics. Maybe you just have light legs, light short legs, and a long heavy torso. If you have a long heavy torso or a really stiff back, it makes that exercise impossible. So it's not for everybody, but I thought, oh, it's the last one we're doing a videotape of, so I thought I'd give you a different challenge today. So we're gonna do a little single leg circle. So I want you to stay on your back. If you like something extra under your head, it's there, right? And you're going to either start with both legs bent, which is the more easy version of this exercise, or you can start with both legs straight. The tricky thing about both legs straight is the back is going to want to arch. So remember, we want to be in neutral. So we want that pubic bone and your ASIS points, but within those hip bones, parallel to the floor. And that's tricky. You have to do quite a bit through the core to keep that unless you're quite flexible through the front of the hip. Yeah, right? So if this is an impossible position for you, start with both legs bent. And then we're just going to lift one leg up to tabletop, or you could go to a straight leg here, right? Lots of options with this exercise. I'm going to stick with the bent leg here. Now we're going to go inside to outside with our circle. Inhale to start the circle, exhale to finish it. 3, 4. Remember, it's not about hula dancing. So if you're hula dancing, stop that. And there's 6. We're going to reverse outside to inside. I know 6 of them today. 2, 3, 4. Are you tightening your neck? You don't have to. And there's your 6th one. And let's bring that leg down. So, right, bring your other leg up to tabletop or straight leg. You're going to go inside to outside to begin. Inhale to start your circle, exhale to finish it. Remember, the exhale is most of that circle. There's your 3rd one. 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to reverse outside to inside. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to come up off our backs. Okay? We're going to go to a little bit of spine twist here. But before we do it, we're just going to do a little bit of an arm exercise. I want you sitting up, and whatever is the easiest place for you to be able to sit up and sit up straight. So right, straight legs are totally fine for this. legs tight together if the legs are straight. We're going to take the arms out to the side to begin with, and we're just going to do some little tiny arm circles here. Going 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse again. Are your shoulders up? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more time the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we'll just kind of shake that out. And we're going to go to our spine twist. So if you're like, okay, that was a lot on my shoulder, you're going to bring your hands to your ribs. Otherwise, you're taking those arms out to the side again. You're going to pick something eye level to look at in front of you. And we're going to use 3 inhales to turn. Try not to move that pelvis. Going in, 2, 3, exhale, center. In, 2, 3, exhale, center. Remember, maximum range of motion on one side is 15 degrees here. If you're getting more than that 15 degrees, you are moving your pelvis, or you're arching your back, or you're rounding your back, and we're trying to stay in neutral. Exhale, center. Exhale, center. One more here. Exhale, center. And center. Good. We're going to do a little bit of rolling like a ball. Now, if you've had disc issues lately, a sciatica, you might want to just find your C curve and balance here, right? Just to work on the strength of your rolling like a ball without potentially triggering a sciatic episode, right? Because who wants sciatica? So, right, let's roll like balls. So you're going to grab a hold of the back of your leg. You're going to scoop backwards into your C curve. Sneak your feet in closer. When they get light on the floor, that's your balance point. So lift your toes up. If you're doing the full exercise, your feet never hit the floor again. You're going to inhale, rock back, exhale, rock forward. Inhale, rock back, and exhale, rock forward. You're trying to keep your back round the whole time. You're looking at your knees the whole time. Trying not to kick your feet. If you have to kick your feet to come back up again, that's okay. But we're trying not to. 2 more. Inhale back, exhale forward. 1 more. Inhale back and exhale forward. We're going to go down onto our backs. So let's do a slow roll down to get there. So right, reach your arms out, drop your shoulders, scoop your back around, take an inhale. Exhale, going back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go to a little bit of single leg stretch. It's done in the same position as our 100. If you have a tendency towards neck pain, you can do this with your head down. If your low back is unhappy, you still have to lift your legs up. Just reach your feet a little bit more up towards the ceiling, because we're going to try and keep our imprint the whole time. So we're going to take an inhale, exhale, find your imprint. Then you're going to lift one leg at a time up to your tabletop position. You're going to inhale, nod, exhale, curl up to look at your knees, grab one leg with both hands and straighten your other leg. And then we're going to exhale as we switch which leg is straight. If you want to stretch your back, pull that knee into your chest. If you want to make it harder, stop the leg at tabletop. 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring your legs together. Put your head down, a little rock and roll of the knees side to side is always nice after that. And then we're going to go to our obliques. Now, right, if you have a tendency towards a sore low back, you're going to want to put your feet down for this exercise. All of us are going to want to pop our hands behind our head. If you still have your legs up, make sure they're in tabletop. You're going to inhale, nod, exhale, curl up, inhale here, exhale, rotate to one side, inhale, center, rotate to your other side, center, and down. Exhale, curl up, rotate, other side, and down, curl up, rotate, other side, and down, curl up, exhale, rotate, other side, and down. 2 more. When you come back to center, are you at the same height or are you dropping down in between? Ideally, you're at the same height. Curl up, rotate, other side, and down. Now, let's put your feet on the floor if they're up. Elbows go wide. Little side to side rock with the knees just to see what's going on with the chest at this point. Maybe for you, this is a hip stretch. That's not a bad thing either, right? And this is fascial release. This rocking stuff, I'm just working on helping you balance out the tension in your fascia. Spiraling movements do that because all of our tissue has a slight spiral to it. There is not a straight line anywhere in our body, except for maybe for some of us in the bridge of our nose. Yeah. So let's go. Oh, we're going to go to shoulder bridge. I, for a moment, had a little thing where my brain was like, where are we going next? So the shoulder bridge is the one where we keep our back straight and lift our butt up off the floor. So if you have something under your head, get rid of that. Feet ideally are sit bone distance apart. Backs in neutral, so feet light, pelvis heavy, low back light, ribs heavy. Take an inhale. Exhale, press your feet on the floor, lift up, stacking your knees over your ankles. Inhale, hold. Exhale, back down again. Inhale, exhale, press your feet on the floor and lift. Inhale, hold. And exhale, down. Now, we're going to do our little add-on where you either lift one heel at a time off the floor when your butt is up there. Two, you could do tabletop with each leg, alternating legs. Or the third one, which is the hardest, is you just slightly decompress 1 foot at a time off the floor. Because the big thing we're working at is not shifting or twisting that pelvis. Remember, we're doing that with the pelvis off the floor. So you're going to take an inhale. Exhale, press your feet on the floor and get that pelvis up off the floor. Knees are over ankles. You're going to inhale, lift 1 foot. Exhale, put it down. Now you're going to lift the other foot and put it down. Now it might just be your heel. We're alternating feet and down. Is your pelvis shifting around and down? Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Last one and down. Take an inhale. Exhale, put your bottom down. Now, if your hamstrings freaked out, even if they didn't, it might be a nice idea just to straighten out the legs. That'll rock and roll the knees in and out. People instinctively do this when they get a hamstring spasm, right? Our body knows how to take care of ourselves. We just have to listen to it. We're going to do a little bit of rollover prep right now. So we're gonna, if you like something extra under your head, pop it under your head. Particularly if you felt your neck tightening earlier when we were doing our single leg circle, you're going to want the block under your head just to help your neck be calm. Now, right? If you got sciatic issues right now, don't do this exercise. Go back up onto your hands and knees, do a little cat stretch. We're just rounding out our back, and that's a much safer place for people with disc issues and sciatica. So, right, rollover prep. Hands come to the forehead so we get our arms out of the exercise. Palms are going to face the ceiling. You're going to find your imprint. Lift one leg at a time up to tabletop. Then lift your feet higher and drop your knees in towards your chest a little bit. Cross your ankles, your knees are an open window. And what I want you to think about with this exercise is that your core is moving your legs, that it's not a leg swing, that it's connection, like working your core, that's making your knees come towards your armpits. So you're going to take an inhale to prepare. You're going to exhale, curl your tail up towards the ceiling. Inhale, put it down. Exhale, curl. Inhale, down. The back of the ribs will get heavier as you do that curl and down. Exhale, curl. Inhale, down. One more here. And we're going to do 5 more with the ankles crossed the other way. You're going to take an inhale. Exhale, curl. Inhale, down. Using your core to try and pull your knees towards your armpits. Exhale, curl. Inhale, down. Exhale, curl. Inhale, down. 2 more. Curl and down. Last one. Curl and down. Beautiful. Let's place our feet on the floor and flip on over onto our tummies because we've been on our back for long enough. We're going to go to our one leg kick. which will help stretch out the front of the thigh. You can either do this down flat with your hands under your forehead, or you're going to be up on your elbows. The tricky thing about being up on your elbows is you're going to try not to let the back sway. So, right, legs are close together for this exercise, kneecaps pointing straight down. Now, if it irritates your knees, get your legs further apart or get your belly on the floor. And if you put your belly on the floor, get your hands under your forehead. So shoulders out of the ears, pubic bones pulled forward a bit. We're trying to have the front of the ribs and the front of the hips be a straight line towards each other, yeah? Now you're gonna inhale to prepare here. Bend one leg, pull your toe in, bounce out a bit, pull your heel in, straighten your leg. Other leg goes toe, heel, and straighten. Toe, heel, straighten. Toe, heel, straighten. Now, ideally, as you do your knee bend, you don't sense the glutes letting go. Ideally, you feel a sense of compression in the glutes on the knee bend. Toe, heel, straighten. Toe, heel, straighten. Are you breathing? Toe, heel, straighten. Toe, heel, straighten. Toe, heel, straighten. Last one. Toe, heel, straighten. Other leg, toe, heel, and straighten. We're going to come down onto our belly. We're going to do a little bit of single leg extension. Single leg extension is an exercise where you're keeping your legs straight and trying to lift it backwards in space. And we're trying not to change the torso a lot to do that. So the leg doesn't lift very high at all because the backward extension of our hip joint is quite small. It's only about, I don't know, 15, 20 degrees, maybe 25. So, right, we're going to have our hands under our forehead. Chest is down on the floor, so you're not kind of propped up on the arms. You're going to pull your pubic bone forward towards the floor a little bit. Notice how that creates some tension in the core. And try and keep that as you do the leg lift. You're going to take an inhale. Exhale, reach out one foot, lifting the leg up. Now, ideally, the front of your thigh is still on the floor. If you lifted it off the floor, you didn't keep your back in neutral. Let's take that leg back down again. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Now we're going to inhale, hold that, and exhale back down again. Inhale, pubic bone forward. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale, lift. And down. Now let's do the other side. Exhale, lift. Now I haven't mentioned it today. Let's go back down again. Exhale, lift. Do you feel some work right where your thigh and your butt meet when you're doing this? And come back down again. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. Ideally, you're feeling that flat where your thigh and your butt meet, doing something now. You do that leg lift. One more here, lift. And down. And just relax our bum, little side to side rock through the hips. We're going to come back. We're going to do 4 breath again, but we're going to alternate legs. And we're going to try not to twist the pelvis as we do that. So, right, the thighs will not come off the floor. If they are, you're loading out your low back because you're changing where your pelvis is. It's okay to load out your low back, but that's not really our goal. We want to support the low back here. So, right, you have your pubic bone pulled forward a little bit. You're going to inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift one leg. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, down. Other side. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. Now let's go to the other leg. I want you to notice if the 2 legs feel the same. We're alternating the legs, lift, hold, and down. Do you feel a shift through your rib cage as you lift one leg backwards? If you do, don't lift that leg so hard. And down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Exhale, down. One more here. Lift, hold, and down. Other side. Lift, hold, and down. Good. We're going to stretch out our butts after that. So we're going to sit back into our shell stretch or flip onto our back and hug our knees into our chest. As much as you can, if you're up on your knees, try to get your sit bones on your heels. It's not about trying to get your elbows on the floor. They might get quite close if you're really flexible, but most of us, they won't be near the floor. And notice my elbows are bent. It's not a straight arm position. It is not child's pose. And a little side to side rock always helps. Just loosen out the tissue we just worked on. Alrighty, let's go onto our side and do some side leg work. We're going to start with our kick today. So you're going to want to have your legs at a 45 to the torso with the feet flexed. Ooh, I woke up with a leg cramp, a calf cramp in the night, and it just kind of talked to me again there. Hopefully it doesn't do that. The whole exercise, that would not be fun. So side of the waist is off the floor. Hand can either be on your leg or down on the floor to help you balance. Remember, don't have those ribs pushed forward. You want to feel like the ribs and the hips have a connection on the front end here, right? Now, you're going to lift that top leg up. You're going to kick it forward twice, going in, exhale, pull that leg behind you. And forward, in, exhale, pull that leg behind you. In, exhale, reach back. Now, you're trying to keep the top end of the torso quiet while you do this. Now, how do you do that? You reach out the top of your head away from your tail the whole time. You keep that rib to hip connection as the leg goes back. In, exhale, reach back. In, and reach back. Now, we're going to be a straight line from our head to our feet. Remember, the side of the waist is off the floor. You want to feel like you're a little bit on the front of your greater trochanter, not right on the apex. If you're right on the apex, it's just going to scream at you. And you're going to lift that top leg up, flex your foot, bring it down, point your foot, reach up, flex, bring it down, point. So notice the side of my waist is not hitting the floor when I lift that leg because I'm trying to keep my pelvis quiet as I do this. There will be a subtle movement in it, but I'm trying to keep it quiet. The other thing is we're trying to target the outside of the hip here. So you're trying to keep your knee pointing 100% forward. Lots of times people turn out and don't even know they are. So maybe think about turning in a little bit as you lift up, just so you don't turn out. And you might feel it a little bit more on the outside of the hip. Inhale up and exhale down. Now let's make this a staggered leg. So you're going to inhale, lift the top leg, exhale, lift the bottom leg to meet it, take them both down. Inhale, lift, exhale, squeeze your legs together and down. Now, if the torso is moving a lot when you lift that second leg, you lift the top leg too much. Inhale, lift, exhale, squeeze and down. Inhale, lift, exhale, squeeze and down. Because can you see how the side of my waist is not going down to the floor? Yeah, up, squeeze and down. Let's do double leg lift. Exhale, lift. 2, 3, 4. Is the side of your waist staying off the floor? 5, 6, 7. We're doing 8 of these today. There's 8. Now bend your knees, drop them in front of you. We're going to do a shoulder exercise to bring your hand up right over top of your shoulder. Make sure your weight is on the outside of your thigh so you haven't rolled back there. Then aim your hand kind of down towards your feet, and you're just going to turn your arm by turning the elbow. Now, if you're getting lots of popping and cracking doing this, get your hand closer to your hip. Where we have a tendency to be weak is when that pinky comes forward and up towards the ceiling. That's what we're really working on here, folks. Now, one more here, and then rest your arms up. We're going to do some clam shell here. So I want you to make sure you can feel the outside of that bottom foot on the floor. And if you can't, you got to get your foot a little further forward. Make sure your weight's on the outside of your thigh. And just to help us not move the pelvis backwards, we're going to keep our heels together for this. So you're going to exhale, open, inhale, close. Notice my range of motion isn't huge. Some of you might be bigger than me, but what we're really working on is that you keep those heels together as you lift up. You are not letting the pelvis roll back. So you want to think about this ASIS point, this top one, staying forward as you try to pull your leg back. That's going to really target the deep hip rotators. Yeah. 2 more here. Exhale, open, inhale, close. Last one, open and close. Whew. We should do that on the other side. So we're going to start with the kick. So remember, you want to have your legs at a 45-degree angle to your torso to have right to help you balance here, right? Top hand can be down, just fingertips. If you go palm, the shoulder rolls forward, yeah. Or hand on your leg, side of your waist is off the floor because that top sit bone's reaching away from the top of your head. Lift your top leg up, kick it forward twice, going in, exhale, point your foot and pull it behind you. And forward, in, exhale, pull back. In, exhale, pull back. In, exhale, pull back. In, exhale, pull back. Two more. In, exhale, pull back. Is your torso staying fairly quiet here as you're doing this? Oh, let's do one more. In, and exhale, pull back. Now, straight line from your head to your feet. Side of your waist is off the floor, but not the side of your ribs. You're on the front of that greater trochanter, not right on the apex of it. And you're gonna lift your top leg up, flex your foot, bring it down, point your foot, reach up, flex, bring it down, point. You're gonna inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Now, is that knee pointing straight forward or is it slightly turning out? Because, right, I could take my leg way higher, but my knee just turned out. There's parallel, that's why it's not going super high. And of course, I'm gonna try and keep my waist off the floor. One more here. Alrighty, let's try our staggered legs. So you're gonna inhale, lift, exhale, squeeze your legs together and down. Inhale, lift, exhale, squeeze and down. Inhale, lift, exhale, squeeze and down. Now remember, it's not about lifting the legs super high. It's about finding the inner thigh to lift that bottom leg. So, right, I'm trying to keep the torso quiet. Up, squeeze and down. One more here. Up, squeeze and down. Double leg lift. Exhale, lift. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we did 8 on the other side, so I'm going to stop there at 8. Let's bring those knees forward. Now, right, we're going to do our shoulder exercise. So bring your hand right up over top of your shoulder. Make sure your weight's on the outside of that bottom thigh. Angle your hand down towards your feet a little bit. And we're just going to rotate that arm by getting that elbow to turn. Right? And remember, we're really trying to find that place where the pinky comes forward and up towards the ceiling. That's where we have a tendency to have weakness in our back. Because lots of, right, this is an unusual position for our arm. But if we get that strong, it helps our shoulder live in a happier place and long-term have less shoulder pain. Last one of these. Rest your hand on your leg. Double check. You can feel the outside of that bottom foot. You're on the outside of the bottom thigh. Side of your waist is off the floor. And you're gonna exhale. Clam shell that top knee open. Inhale, close. Right? Trying to keep that ASIS point forward as you lift your knee. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Really reaching forward with that knee as you go up and down to help find the deep hip rotators. They're right where your thigh and your butt meet and deep in your bum. If you're like me, one side's stronger than the other. I always work to balance it out. Better than it used to be. We're never symmetrical though. Now, one more here. Alrighty, let's go on to our back and do a little something to make those hips feel happier after that. So if you like something extra under your head, you can put it under your head here. We're just going to start with your feet the width of our mat and drop one knee into the middle and pick it up. Other knee into the middle and pick it up. This is internal rotation, right? And of course the body's rolling a little bit too. So it's not pure internal rotation, but I will say lots of people have lost the internal rotation during the pandemic, right? Now that I'm back teaching in person again, I'm noticing that. So the more we can play with this, the better off you are, because you want to be able to have your knee turn both outward and inward. Anyway, speaking of outward, let's make that happier. So step your feet closer together, cross one knee ankle over your opposite knee, flex that foot, it helps stabilize that knee of the leg that's up. Drop your arm sideways, palm up, palm down. Doesn't matter to me. Let's just walk those knees side and center a few times. And this will just help with the external rotators in our hip. Breathing. And of course, we're getting to all kinds of other tissue, not just the hip, doing this rocking action. Let's do the other side. So ankle over knee, flex your foot, and just rock this side and center a few times. And notice, does one side feel tighter than the other? And maybe the side that feels tighter is also the side that's weaker. That's typically what goes on for us, because our tissue stiffens when it's weak. Yeah. So, right, if you have really tight hamstrings and you're like, oh my Lord, I can never sit up straight, get your hamstrings stronger. Over time, they'll get more range of motion through the hip and be able to sit up a little better. Now, right, let's just come to a seated position, do a little bit of our spine stretch forward, and we'll finish off with a little swan dive today. So, right, if you need to be on a yoga block, stick it under your bum. You can be in your diamond legs or straight legs. Feet are about shoulder distance apart here. If the legs are straight, imagine your back's on the wall behind you. You're going to start with your head, take an inhale, exhale, rounding forward through the rib cage. Inhale into your back and exhale back up again. Inhale. As you go forward, it's like you're aiming the top of your forehead to your knees. Inhale. Exhale back up again. Inhale. Exhale. Rounding forward. Inhale. Exhale back up again. Let's do 2 on the 2 breath. So just exhale, round down. Inhale, come up. One more of those. Exhale as you round down. Inhale, stack the spine up. And let's just pop onto our bellies, do a little bit of swan dive prep just so we get our bigger back extension and get a different stretch through the front of the hip. So you're down on your belly with your hands beside your head. You're going to have fingertip to elbow on the floor. You're going to have your legs open to a V shape, but keep your feet within the width of your mat. And then we're going to find those clamshell muscles to pull your heels towards the middle so that we have our external rotation. Now, right, if you didn't have a big clamshell, your heels are not going to point 100% at each other, yeah? Now, right, you're going to inhale, slide your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, use your back muscles to lift up onto your elbows, then use your arms and your bum to lift even higher. Inhale, the front of the torso is off the floor. Come back down again on your exhale. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, coming up into a shape like a banana. Inhale, you're reaching out your toes. And exhale, back down again. Inhale, slide your shoulder blade. Exhale, come up into that banana shape. You feel your butt doing something. And come back down again. Inhale, slide your shoulder blades. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale, hold. And down. We're going to do 2 on the 2 breath. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Reach out those toes. And down. Beautiful. We're just going to press back into our shell stretch. Either laying on your back, hugging your knees in, or sitting back over your heels. Little side to side rock is always nice in either position. Breathing. And then I hate to tell you, we're out of time for today. So thank you for joining me. And I hope to see you in person soon. That'll be very exciting. Bye.
Thanks, Ruth.